Namaskar. We are beaming in from a beautiful location in Utah state of US, the Zion National Park. The peak that you see behind me is one of the beautiful peaks of the Zion National Park for capturing the meaning of the word Zion, which has been quite popularized in the current dialogue around the Zionist movement of Israel, which literally translates to a holy place. Zion, being the holy place, of course, reminds us of our beautiful holy places that really become holy because we make them holy. We make them a places or place of worship. And one such beautiful place of worship that got amazing significance was the Ram Mandir that experienced a once in a thousand year event with the Dhwajaarohan that happened earlier this month, in fact, earlier this week. And that should evoke lots and lots of sentiment among us Hindus. But unfortunately, it doesn't. And that is really why we want to have this special leadership dialogue series talk in this lovely location of Zion National Park to talk about the holy places of significance for us and how some of the Hindus have forgotten the significance, the importance, and why these places become holy and must remain holy for us now, as they have been for generations running through thousands of years, and must remain holy for the coming thousands and thousands of years. This kind of iconic places really put you in a very special frame, and Zion being holy speaks to you of these places not just being holy when the Western civilization essentially occupied this land, but actually these places were considered holy by the native people for thousands of years because of the iconic grandeur of these places. So, talking about the grandeur and the Dhwajaarohan event, Dr. Shrikant, first, welcome to join me in this discussion. I want to put this question to you in terms of why do you think so many Hindus are not able to acknowledge and appreciate the significance and importance of this Dhwajaarohan event?
Thank you, Aparnaji. I think the reason why they are not able to appreciate the significance of this event is the lack of awareness and lack of knowledge of the rich history of Hinduism, specifically the specific events throughout the history of Hinduism, and about the holy places of worship that have existed for centuries. Uh, this is due to any number of reasons, but I will just touch upon uh, 3 to 4 reasons, which, in my view, are the key ones. The first is the education system in India. We all know that the history textbooks in the schools have not devoted the attention that was required and that was merited to cover the rich history of Hinduism. Uh, and in my view, this was done with a specific purpose, and that was done to continue the process of mental subjugation that was inflicted upon us, by our rulers. So, if you look at the second related reason is the parental influence.
Mhm.
Uh, Unfortunately, and I must say, there is a caveat, many parents do, but the reality is many parents do not inculcate the importance and the pride of being a Hindu in their children right from an early stage. And we know that if it is not inculcated at an early stage, the kids today, they are not going to get it when they are 20 or 15 or 25. This
Mhm.
needs to be done when they are 3, 4, 5 years old. And that is something that has been inconspicuous by its absence in many Hindu families. I think that is the second reason. The third reason is, unfortunately, the reality is, if you're a devout Hindu, you're not a cool dude. Um, if you're a proud Hindu, you do not get social acceptance because that is not what works do. Uh, so I want to make an important point, because I spoke about the Hindu places of worship, right? And when we talk about temples, the grandeur of temples was one thing, right? That is a separate thing in itself. But the temples of the past years, they also played a multifunctional role. They were not just places of worship. They were, places of economy. They were places of growth. They were places of cultural assimilation. But today, that understanding has degenerated into something. People look at temples not even as places of worship, but more as places of ritualistic practices. And maybe this degeneration has something to do with also why today's youngsters do not have the inquisitiveness to know more about uh, historic events in Hinduism or about historic places of worship in Hinduism. So, what do you think is the significance of Dhwajaarohan, and why do people need to be aware of it?
Very good question, and it connects with everything that you have said. Why people have not noticed this big event. I would just first also add that Hinduism cannot be seen in segments. Hindu dharma is a very holistic dharma or holistic system of practice which doesn't need to be separated from other aspects of life. And that's what you said about temples being a holistic place of activities that bring the entire existence in one place which has been denigrated or put behind and not made the current way by which we access Hinduism. And so that gets to the question you asked about Dhwajaarohan. Dhwajaarohan, meaning flag raising, essentially is the activity that we are referring to here, which asks the question, what is a flag for? A flag is essentially functioning as an emblem, a symbol of identity and a sovereignty of how a community is able to exert its own independent existence and define its own destiny. That's why we do national flag hoisting more than once a year
Mhm.
in reminding ourselves that we are sovereign, we are independently governed enterprise which is going to be devoted to self interest. So, Dhwaj Arohan, flag raising in this context, one may wonder why does one need a flag on a temple? And that's exactly the point. Hindu dharma and Hindu existence is what this is celebrating and acknowledging that a flag that declares the sovereignty of Hindu Dharma, self determination of its current and future destiny, is what this flag represents. And so, in the raising of the flag on Hindu temple, which has come about after 500 years of continuous struggle to rebuild a temple which was a very ancient, very, very ancient place of Hindu significance of Ram Janm, is essentially a very, very significant raising of flag in saying that we have finally and peacefully established our existence on this land of thousands and thousands of years in our devotion to the Lord Ram, who we consider as the ideal person, and the millions and millions of Hindus who worship that person for everything that they see embodied in that person, is basically what this flag hoisting,
Mhm.
flag raising was supposed to represent. So it should have really gotten every single Hindu very excited to realize that an iconic moment has happened which sets the path for defining our future, in defining our destiny, independent of any subjugation or control. And that's a moment of deep pride and deep recognition for every Hindu on this planet, because Hinduism, as I said, is fundamentally inclusive, fundamentally respects diversity, and fundamentally extremely holistic, functioning from individual to every level of collective, including going all the way to the universe of harmony. So, with that point of view that I'm presenting, what is your view of the significance of Dhwajaarohan in 2025 in laying the path forward for our future?
I think the significance of this event to me is pretty plain and simple. One is it is about re-establishing at a very broad level this holy place as a significant place of worship for Hindus. Uh, but more importantly, if I go a bit deeper, it is this event to me represents unshackling of the mental subjugation that was inflicted upon us by centuries and centuries of foreign rule. And as a result of which, the Hinduism lost a bit of its way, but we are on the way up. But there's a lot of work that needs to be done to continue our journey upwards.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shrikant. The deep, deep gratitude to all our ancestors who have preserved what we still have to cherish, to grow, to nurture in Hinduism, and the rich practice that it offers in really being able to address all the challenges of humanity without any segmentation or segregation of peoples is the richest offer we as individuals who practice Hinduism have to offer. So, in the Saraswati Sangam project, that is our mission that we serve in our little tiny way. And this edition of the Leadership Dialogue was brought to you from this iconic Zion National Park, and the beauty and the opportunity it gives us to spend a few hours in nature and experience the divine offer of nature. We'll be back very soon with another leadership dialogue topic. I hope you will listen to this one with interest. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you will peek and look for our next dialogue talk. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Namaskar.